I truly believe George Harrison was the real genius of the Beatles, even though for years his talent was overshadowed by the Lennon-McCartney partnership. His musical and spiritual vision was what gave the band that unique character which elevated them far beyond the realm of 1960s pop music. It was Harrison who first suggested bringing the sitar into Norwegian wood, a small detail. Perhaps, but in reality, it changed everything. That decision opened the door to the band's most experimental era, paving the way for groundbreaking works like Tomorrow Never Knows. In fact, an early demo of Norwegian Wood already carries rhythmic ideas that foreshadow what they would later achieve on Revolver. Beyond Lennon and McCartney's brilliance, the Beatles' signature sound always depended on one crucial ingredient: Harrison's guitar style. His phrasing, his precise and melodic lead lines, were what transformed good songs into timeless Beatles classics. Without his touch, the music could sound fine, but it wouldn't sound like the Beatles. His guitar wasn't just accompaniment, it was the very identity of the band. Harrison also stood at the forefront of their most daring experiments. John and Yoko recalled his involvement in Revolution 9, where his openness to avant-garde expression added depth.
George and John and I made number 9. And that was actually George sort of like instigated. Just, let's do it. You know. And he didn't have that feeling of, well, Yoko is a separate thing and, you know, we shouldn't sort of be nice to her or anything like that. She was just very nice.
And when it came time to craft a truly timeless song, he wrote something which Frank Sinatra once called the greatest love song of the past 50 years. For a Beatle who wasn't Lennon or McCartney to achieve that is proof of his silent genius. He didn't just shape their music, he reshaped their lives. It was Harrison who convinced the others to travel to India for meditation, a journey that gave birth to songs like Across the Universe and Within You Without You, and forever changed their worldview. Harrison was the bridge between the mundane and the transcendent. Even after the Beatles, his genius lingered in the work of others. He stood close to John during the making of Imagine, offering ideas and support. Later, during the anthology sessions in 1994, his playing ensured that Free as a Bird and Real Love carried the authentic Beatles DNA. And yet, after his passing, when Paul and Ringo revisited Now and Then, the result, though moving, simply lacked that unmistakable spark. Fans feel it too. Without Harrison, there is no Beatles sound. His importance was undeniable. When he temporarily quit the band during the Get Back sessions for Let It Be, the entire group ground to a halt. They couldn't move forward until George returned. That says everything. Not even Lennon and McCartney could go on without him. George Harrison was never just the third Beatle, as people unfairly labeled him. He was the true architect of their immortal sound, the man who transformed the Beatles from a brilliant rock and roll band into a spiritual and musical force that changed the world.